Today, which one is this? We're voting. And what am I doing? No, this one?
The recording's ready.
All right. All right, so. Is this the list right here? This is the list. Yep. All right, so good afternoon, everyone. Thank you. We have a lot of work to do before 3:30. I want to thank you for being flexible. All right, we're like going and coming really fast, so I hope you're getting some substance. So we have voting list number 9, Friday, March the 7th, Health and Government Operations Committee. We have House Bill 973, which has been withdrawn. Is there a motion? All right, all those, it's been moved and second. Any concerns about it? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposition? On House Bill 475, Advanced Practice Registered Nurse Compact, it's favorable. Lindsay and Rosenberg.
This bill enters Maryland into the Advanced Practice Registered Nurse Compact.
It's been moved in second. Any concerns or questions about it? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposition? Seeing none, the bill passes. Sorry. Opposition? Sorry about that. Okay. Delegate Riley. Delegate Hutchinson. Anyone else? Delegate Chisholm.
What are we voting on the...
Are you discussing? We just want to discuss.
47, oh, you want to discuss it? Okay, so,
Oh, no. Yeah,
okay,
I'm
let's,
sorry.
1 second. 475, it was moved favorable in second, and we took a vote, and people voted for it. Are you opposed to it, or you want to go back? We can go back to it. Let's go back to it. All right, Advanced Practice Register Compact. It's moved in second. Let's go to the discussion. Delegate Chisholm.
Thank you. Can somebody from
welcome.
subcommittee just give me the cliff notes? Because there is opposition in here from Nurse Practitioners Association of Maryland. Were all the
Absolutely.
stakeholders brought in, and is everybody happy with the bill now, or where does the bill stand?
I'll have Delegate, who will be the best person, Rosenberg, to address it.
I'll start.
Thank you, Delegate Chisholm.
Certainly, the Nurses Association of Maryland is for the bill. They're the largest association. There are others who are not. But this is allowing, if this bill were to pass, it would allow Maryland nurses, if they choose, to join this compact. And it would also, given that we were told that there are concerns about the compact itself, the substance of it, they would be in a better position to, we need 6 more states, I believe, to sign on to the compact for it to take effect by choice for whoever seeks to join it, but that you would be better off to make the necessary changes or the sought for changes if you are a member of the compact than if you're on the outside looking in.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you for the question, and thank you for slowing us down. Delegate Shalega.
So I've gotten a lot of emails against this bill, and it says that it's reducing the standards. Is it that Maryland has a higher licensure standard, and that it would reduce the licensure standard if I don't know. I'm just
I don't
reiterating.
believe that another state could do that. It might mean the standard in another state that joins the compact could be less than that of Maryland. But we don't waive, correct me if I'm wrong, we don't waive our standards for somebody who comes here from another state.
I think though it was prescribing authority is different, and that, that this could affect the Maryland prescribing authority is, no? Okay, I'm just telling you that, and I may or may not vote for it. Thank you.
Thank you. Delegate Hutchinson and Delegate Hill.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We just quickly went through this in our subcommittee, and same as Delegate Shalega said, I'm like 50-50 in terms of the amount of emails I'm getting for and against this, and the fact that we still need the other states to get in there. This is something I just feel like we're just rushing to get in and get done. I'm sure it will pass, but I just want to explain that's why I'm going to be a no, is that I just feel like we're rushing this through, and I don't understand it enough to definitively say it's the right thing to do. Thank you.
Okay. And my understanding is that most of the organizations are for it. There's only one organization that is against it. And it's the one making the most noise, but it's only one as well. Delegate Hill.
Thank you. So, having, been here when we've worked through, and some of them I've worked through quite intimately, the physician compact and the nurses compact, the compacts do require a fair amount of giving up of autonomy to work within the compact, but yes, Delegate Rosenberg, you're correct that you can't change the national compact. The reality is they really can't change the national compact even once they get in. So my understanding is this is optional, that just because there's a compact doesn't mean that the nurse practitioners have to participate in it. But I guess the question is, if there's so much resistance, and what these nurse practitioners who testified against it said is they were part of the conversations over the last years, and that there is a form of the compact that upholds the standards, and this is the wrong, that the board is getting into the wrong compact. They're not against a compact. They were arguing this is not the right one. And what was the conversation in subcommittee, if any, about whether this is the wrong one, and did the board consider their concerns in trying to move ahead, or are they treating it like any compact's a compact? Because again, they were saying it's not that we don't want a compact, it's that this is not the right one to get into.
What the vice chair just said, that there's one nursing group in the state that does not support the bill. And the majority, therefore, of the nurses, as represented by their organizations in this state, support the bill. And it is voluntary for any nurse, whatever organization they belong to join the compact.
So the nurse practitioners, which is who this affects, right? They're against it. The Board of Nursing favors it. The Maryland College of Nurse Wives gives information. The nurse anesthetists, who this doesn't affect, they're for it. So you said the only one against is the nurse practitioners, but I don't know which of the other ones are going to be more affected by this. So doesn't the fact that they're the ones, it's not equal comparing other nursing groups to this group?
Well, the Nurses Association, I believe that, I'm not sure the exact name, that Robin Elliott represents, to my understanding, is the biggest in the state.
The pediatric nurse practitioners were unfavorable.
But the association that is the largest association of nurses in the state did testify in support.
I'm not sure who that would be.
Delegate Riley.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So, I too was in the subcommittee, and I, raised up that, during testimony, we heard that a lot of folks felt that this compact was not the right compact, that it was already pretty much outdated, so they wanted a different one. So I'm assuming that might be the one that Delegate Hill is talking about or mentioning. And then through the testimony, we also heard beings that it takes 7 states to get into it. We're thinking that that's probably not going to be feasible or possible, knowing the fact that there's been 5 other states that have had this same compact, similar to this one. And one, Hawaii, is on hold. They're doing additional study. Kentucky has already withdrawn their legislation for it, and Arizona and New York. So, they're pausing. So, apparently there's something that's not correct or, adequate in this compact. So that's the only reason we're saying, I think in subcommittee, some of us had mentioned maybe just, hold it until we figure out the differences, or wait until next year and figure out, what is the best compact, because we all want the compacts to work, and we want people and states to get involved. But what we're hearing is that might not be possible with this particular compact. That's what.
Delegate Vice Chair Collison.
There we go. Thank you, Madam Chair. I understand that, and you've seen the emails and seen the concerns, and understand that there are 2 different versions out there, but I honestly believe that And the way, I mean, I heard Delegate Hill say that you can't change the contract, but the way I understand how the compacts work is once you are a member, you become a member of the board. And it's the board that makes those changes. And so we can actually have a bigger influence if we are part of that board. But it's all contingent, as you say, on, you know, at least 6 other states coming on. So, you know, and for me, the specific reference to the number of hours was not big enough to stop the whole thing. We can again, allow our nurses, our nurse practitioners to have the option to join. And that's really, you know, where I was coming from.
Okay, Delegate Hill?
Please, thank you. So then, let me ask this question. And again, what is interesting about this, and with the previous compacts, if I recall correctly, it was the practitioners who wanted it and the boards were generally resistant. This time it's coming from the board and the practitioners are generally resistant. There were a couple of folks testifying or groups testifying who wanted amendments. And were those amendments considered in subcommittee and rejected, or were those amendments not considered? Particularly, let me see here real quick. Amendments were offered by the Maryland Society of Anesthesiologists. Amendments were requested by MedChi, and I think, and were those discussed and rejected or simply not
May
discussed?
I call on the attorney, please? Thank you.
Those were discussed in subcommittee. MedChi in particular represented that while they had a preference for their language, they weren't opposed to passing the bill as is. And because of the nature of a compact and the inability to really amend the compact language and still be a member of the compact, the subcommittee opted not to include any amendments.
Yes. Vice Chair Collison.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just to make sure, what Lindsay just said, you can't change it in your statute. You can't make changes in the compact. But again, if you are a member of the compact and you become a member of the board, that's your opportunity to have influence. Thank you.
So basically, when the board is structured, then that's when they set all the regulations and rules.
They have some in, they have some in place now, just the basic framework, but right, once there are participating states, that's when they work to make the changes that will meet all of the needs.
Okay, all right. And I know that we like to, in this committee, and we try really hard to build consensus and to compromise, but there have been instances, for example, the vaginal delivery bill, right, that we passed this session. There was another one that we passed where basically we did it and the majority of the people were for it. You know, the committee, we do a lot by committee process. So I'm gonna trust the committee process on the bill, and the discussion will continue across the street. And, you know, they'll get to have another bite of the apple as well, okay? Any other discussions? Any other concerns? All right. What, did I do the amendments or the bill? There's no amendments, sorry. So it's been moved in second. Any further discussion on the bill? Okay, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, can you raise your hand? Delegate Shalega, Delegate Chisholm, Delegate Riley, Delegate Hutchinson, and Delegate Hill. Okay? And thank you for allowing the discussion, okay? All right, so let's go to 1060, and that's favorable with amendment, Lindsay and Rosenberg.
This bill expands the definition of cremation to include the process of reducing human remains to soil through natural organic reduction. Your packet is a reprint of this bill with amendments adopted in subcommittee that authorize the Office of Cemetery Oversight and Board of Morticians and Funeral Directors to jointly adopt regulations establishing a process for regulating crematories that utilize natural organic reduction, which may include registration of crematory operators that perform natural organic reduction, permitting, operating requirements, placement of soil, and other requirements for inspection, soil testing, and oversight.
The bill as amended would make us consistent with other states that allow this burial procedure. And it was also the sponsor of the study bill indicated to us, as did the sponsor of this bill, Delegate Kaiser, that this is complementary to the study that we've already passed out of the committee.
Okay, so do you want to move the amendments?
So moved.
Is there a second? Moved in second. Is there any discussion on the amendment, any concerns on these amendments? Delegate Bandari?
The only reason I was not in favor of the bill and the subcommittee was this is the very new process, and we already passed the study bill. And even the state of California voted on this bill, and the effect date will be in 2027. If this is just a study, I could vote for the bill. That's what it means.
So, all right, any other concerns on the amendments? All right, all those in, yes, Delegate Shalega.
I noticed the Board of Morticians was opposed. Did they come in okay with these amendments?
Delegate Kaiser.
Madam Chair, thank you, Delegate Shalega. The Office of Cemetery Oversight worked with us. The Funeral Morticians Board was not interested, so we changed the language in such a way that we're making it a may, not a shall, that they can develop regulations. And while there is a bifurcation in the process, not the process, between the office and the Funeral Morticians Board, they don't have to take a part of this. It's possible that I may ask Delegate Woods to join me on a bill next year after there's a new leader of the Funeral Morticians Board and see if they are aligned, but they don't have to set regulations on this.
So they didn't weigh in, or they weighed in
They
negative?
remained unwilling to do so. We know that they have new leadership coming, but the Office of Cemetery Oversight, who was opposed at the beginning, was in full support by the end based on the amendments.
Thank you.
Okay, any other questions? And thank you for the questions, really appreciate it. On the amendments, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposition? Seeing none, on the bill as amended. It's been moved in second. Any discussion or concerns? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposition? Delegate Riley? Delegate Morgan? Delegate Shalega? And Bandari? See, you don't find yourself lonely. You got good company. Is there anyone who does not want to be on the bill? Can you raise your hand? Okay, who does not want to be on the bill? You have more company now. Shalega, Chisholm, Morgan, Alston, Bandari. I don't want to be on that. Okay, and who else? Okay, and Riley. Okay. Yes. And the nurse practitioner bill, what you want to do? Yes. What you want to do?
I want to go back to a yay.
You want to vote for it?
Yeah.
Okay. And we did get some new information on that. Can you please say the information we got?
Sure. Thank you, Madam Chair. So someone who represents 4 groups of advanced practice nurses said that they are in support of the bill. And there are, in 2021, Delaware enacted the compact with a vote of 20-1 in the Senate and 38-3 in the House. North Dakota enacted the bill unanimously in the House with a 45-1 vote in the Senate. In 2022, Utah enacted the compact unanimously. In 2023, 7 states have introduced the bill. So far this session, Hawaii included the bill as a party to a study for the state to join compacts because they are in none right now. The bill in Montana has passed the House and is now in the Senate. The bill in Arizona has passed the Senate and is now in the House. Texas introduced the bill 2 weeks ago.
Oh, okay. That would have made a difference, right?
Yeah, you should have told us.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I think given the, all the workforce shortages bills that we have had, right, and everything that we have tried to do this session, I think that this is relevant to that as well. But you changed your vote to a yes, right? Okay, Delegate Hutchinson, we, actually, we just took a vote on House Bill 1060, right?
We did.
And it was, we noted that, who was not for it and who voted for it. We're done with that bill. Delegate Hutchinson,
Thank you, Madam Chair. House Bill 475 from red to green.
from red to green, okay, thank you. You're getting good. You're getting really good. Okay, Delegate Riley.
My whole point of voting against it was because we had all these states that were pulling out of it.
Yeah.
At least that's the information we've received. So if they're all going towards it,
Yes.
then
They are.
yes.
Okay,
Yes.
yes. Chisholm is a yes, okay. So you're a yes. I love it. No, thank you, thank you. No, this is why. So everybody's a yes. So this is why we have the discussions, right? And why it's good to have it here, which I'm so grateful for that. Yeah, and why we have cell phones. 1 second, Delegate Johnson. Okay, so who, do you? It's favorable. It's favorable. But thank you for looking out for your friends. Okay, so we're going to go to House Bill 1244, and that's the Maryland Holocaust Remembrance Day. You know what? When I said that, my New Yorker came out. Did you hear the accent? No, just kidding. Favorable with amendment. Lindsay.
This bill requires the governor to annually proclaim January 27th as Maryland Holocaust Remembrance Day. Your packet doesn't have the amendment from this morning, but there were two amendments that were in the packet this morning. One would have added to the preamble in the list of people who died, adding to that list polls, and then there was also an amendment to change the effective date of the bill.
So I want to start by saying thank you to Delegate Shalega, Delegate Rosenberg, and Delegate Kaiser for sitting down and working it out. The committee is really grateful. So the compromise is the following. We will proceed with the amendment to change the date of implementation, and then we're going to remove line 23 to 25 in the preamble. Okay?
Can I note that the date change was really just to get an amendment so that people could be postponed.
Right.
So if you're already doing another amendment, you don't actually have to.
Okay, so let's leave is it okay if we leave the date, but get rid of line 23, 25, right?
23 through 25.
To 25.
So just to clarify, this is preamble language. It says, whereas millions of others, including Roma, people with disabilities, LGBTQ people, Jehovah's Witnesses, political dissidents, and more suffered and died because of bigotry and hate. And those are lines 23 through 25 on page 1. That would be
Okay.
struck.
So with those amendments, can someone move the amendments, please? Move the amendment is one, right? And it's been second. Can we open it up? Is there discussion on what we just did? Seeing none? Oh, no, she's not. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposition to the compromise amendment? No. No, we don't need to because we're making a change already.
There's already amendments.
Yes. Let me just move the bill. 1 second. The amendment has been moved and second. 1 second. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposition to the amendments? Seeing none on the bill. Move the amended bill. May I have a second? Now I open it up for discussion. Yes, Delegate Kaiser.
Madam Chair, thank you. To Delegate Hill and others, the date change was originally suggested by Delegate Shalega for the purpose of forcing an amendment so we could then all sign on. So the date change is no longer necessary because we're doing another change. So I just want to make sure that you understood that the date change going back is, yeah, it's all fine. It's kind of beside the point. But
Which
thank
was
you.
genius. Thank you. All right, so any other questions, Delegate Hill?
We've got preamble in the bill, it doesn't show up, can you clarify, it doesn't show up in statute anywhere, does it?
No, it's just Sometimes preambles are helpful to explain why a bill is happening if it's not necessarily evident from the text of the actual changes to code. So it's just explanatory language. Yeah, it helps to explain the intent that's happening, you know, the reasons for a bill. It's not actually part of what goes into code.
Okay. Any other questions? Delegate
I
Rosenberg.
would just add, I believe it's in the chapter laws. The preamble remains in the chapter laws,
Yes, it is.
but not in the code itself.
Just like uncodified language when you have studies at the end of a bill, it's just not going to appear in the code when you're looking in your code volume.
Okay. Any other questions or concerns? Seeing none, all those in favor of the bill as amended, they got a moved in a second, say aye. Aye. Any opposition to the bill as amended? None. Who does not want to be on the bill? Raise your hand. We all want to be on the bill. Delegate, you're up. Okay, Delegate Taveras is yes on the bills that we voted, she said, and on this bill, okay? All right. Relax. All right, we have House Bill 1272.
This is an emergency bill that extends the termination date for provisions of law that require the Maryland Insurance Commissioner to enforce clean claims laws for the Administrative Services Organization that administers the Maryland Specialty Mental Health System, that subject an ASO to certain clean claims requirements, and specify certain actions the Insurance Commissioner must take regarding enforcement of clean claims provisions. The termination provisions are extended for 2 additional years to May 18th, 2025. There are no amendments.
This is Bagno.
This was an emergency bill to deal with our ongoing Optum issues. I would move the bill.
It's been moved in second. Any discussions or concerns on House Bill 1272 from anyone here? Seeing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposition? All right. So this concludes the bill here, the voting session, but I need to discuss a few things with you. So can you, just, it is not related to the bill hearings, just, could you take us down, please? Thank you so much. Okay. All right.